see the live sign. That's a good thing. Oh, we get that little circle out. Oh, looks like we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Kelly, can you hit that one X there so I can just so I'll be able to just so I'll be able to catch the things coming. So hopefully I won't miss any. Well, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So this is our second Facebook Live session this week. I was supposed to do last Tuesday, one in the afternoon, and then another one that evening. But there were some incidents that occurred last Tuesday that stopped me from doing the one in the afternoon. We had a shooting incident, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. But we rescheduled. I was able to do Tuesday evening, but I was unable to do Tuesday afternoon, and these are important to me. So I just wanted to do the second session, and so I know it's a Friday. It's a beautiful day out. So I will tell you if you watch this later on, I totally understand, and I know life is hectic and things going on. So, but I felt like I owed it to commit to doing the 12 o'clock slot if people were able to watch and what works in the people's schedule. So let me start with saying some hellos, and then we'll get into a couple of topics that I want to touch base on. Price, good to have you on board. Thank you, my friend, all the way from Suffolk. I like that. Cameron, good to see you, buddy. Anthony, I appreciate you being here. Thank you, my friend. Mike, it's good to have you on board. I appreciate you. Couple things. What I like to do in these sessions, and kind of how we got on Facebook Live. How long have we been doing it now, Kelly? Has it been 2 years? A little over 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
So it's one of our goals to use technology to get information out. So I'm a big fan of technology, but I'm not the best at it. So I leave the experts kind of guide me, and I kind of have some vision of what I would like to be seeing and work with, but I'm just not the one to do it. So we all have limitations, right? So I'm here with Kelly King in the PIO office, and she's going to work with me as we go through. So I will do my very best to hit each post or each question and each response. If I miss, we will go back and pick it up, and I will send you something, or we'll make a phone call. I want to make sure I don't want to miss any. I'll really do my best. But we set these up for about 2 years ago was it's hard. We go to a community meeting, you may get 30 people. There's just so much going on in life, right? Things with kids and sports or events and family, and I know it's hard. So kind of taking advantage of technology to be able to get information out where we can have this direct, where if you're doing something at work or wherever, not driving though, right? Don't be, but if you're doing something at work, something with your family, some event, and you look at some of the conversation we have now or later or even later in the week, hopefully it'll be beneficial for you. But what I try to do, I think it's important just to have some conversation with the community, and this way we're able to reach much more individuals and just share. So I will try to respond to each question. I'll talk to you a little bit about crime, where we are today. I'll talk to you about some of the events that have happened over the last couple weeks, and anything that we have on the horizon coming up. So today I'd like to talk about, I'll go over the shooting that occurred earlier this week. I'll talk to you about promotions. I'll hit on the crime. I'll talk about our Citizens Academy, our Police Academy. I'll talk about, we just finished up Police Week. We got to go up to Ashland, and I'll share a little bit of that with you. And then our summer initiatives. And then we have one departure from our department. Some in the community already know, but I will share that with them. We're losing a valued member, but I totally understand, and it's a dream of his, and it's just a great opportunity, and I totally support him, and probably his biggest fan here. So it's a great thing. So Kelly, I'm going to ask you to scroll down a little bit past. I think I got Mike. Roberta, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Mary, good to see you. I'm here from work in Norfolk. Anthony, I hope you're, as long as you don't get in trouble, my friend, right? Wow, Jamie, wow, good to have you on board, Jamie. Good to see you. Wait, Janie, I'm sorry.
Jane.
I'm sorry, I'm getting old. Kenyon, very good. Good to see you, my friend. Carrie, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. Teresa, thank you. Hello, I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. So a couple things. So I'll start with the crime. When I first got to Newport News a couple years ago, I would go around and talk to the community, and I would ask them what our crime rate is, and I would just ask people like, how many homicides do you think we have in the city? And I would hear numbers like, oh, 200 or 150. And I'm, oh my gosh, you know, um, the perception, the perception I think is just so inflated. Um, so we've never had the city's never had more than 33 or 34 homicides in a year ever. But that perception is one of the things that really pushed me that it's important that I get this information out and then we talk about it. So every department across the country reports their data to the FBI, and the FBI takes all that data, how many robberies per population, how many aggravated assaults, how many auto thefts or burglaries, and they compile that. And they kind of put a national average on clearance rates. Like if you have 10 burglaries, the national average is what is the average that these burglaries or arrests are made or they're cleared. And they set that national average usually every year. So if I reported our numbers to the FBI today, Newport News, our crime in Newport News is down about 23, 24%. So let's go back to 2018, we had a 5% reduction. In 2019, we had a 9% reduction. In 2020, we had a 14% reduction. And right now, we're down about 23, 24%. Now, our robberies are down, our rapes are down, our property crimes are down. We have about 2 or 3 now more shootings, maybe 3 or 4 more shootings than we had this time last year. When I say shootings, shot in the arm, shot in the leg, the shoulder. Our homicides, we have seen an increase in them this year. However, when I measure street crime, well, let's go back to the homicides. The national average for homicide clearance rate is about 64. Our clearance rate today is at 75%. When I measure street crime, am I seeing shootings in the street? Am I seeing bodies drop, homicides in the street? The majority of our homicides this year have happened inside, whether it's been domestic related, boyfriend, girlfriend, love triangle, argument, brother on brother, stepson on father. A lot of the homicides this year have been inside a resident. And that's hard when you're patrolling because we don't see what's going on behind closed doors and behind walls. So we really have to rely on citizens who may live above or next door, see things in their driveway or hear things to address some of those. They're very, very difficult. But we do have a 75% clearance rate, which is well above the national average in our homicides. But we are seeing an increase there. And we're seeing them in different parts. We're not seeing them in areas of condensed poverty. We're seeing them in our neighborhoods, or kind of the suburbs, I would say. But majority of the homicides have happened inside. But the detectives are working very, very hard to clear it. I know that solving a case never brings someone back, but it does add a piece of closure that individuals don't have to dwell on. Well, the person who did this is still out there. And then I think of the homicides we've had this year, I think 4, maybe 5 are domestic related. The latest, of course, being a 10-month-old little boy. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So again, last Tuesday, so just hitting that again, if I reported our numbers to the FBI today, we would be down about 23, 24% of crime reduction compared to last year. So the last 4 years, we've seen a steady drop. I want to make sure. LAPD retired. Javier, it's good to have you on board, my friend. Wow. And I don't know how many years you did in Los Angeles, but thank you for your service, my friend. Wow. It's good to have you on board. I don't know if you're here just online or if you're here in Newport News, but it's good to have you. I appreciate that. Zach, it's good to see you, my friend. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Joan, I was down at the station near Randolph Road on Wednesday morning to get fingerprinted. No, I'm not in trouble. I'm not in trouble. Well, I'm glad you shared that with me. They're very good. But the lady that did my prints had the best attitude and the brightest personality I've seen in a while. Made my morning so much better. She deserves a raise, Chief. Well, Joan, I will tell you, the individuals that I have working in the records division are just fantastic people. I hope it's part of the culture overall for this organization. They are great people. I love interacting with them. Now, I tease them a lot. I give them a hard time. I give them the wave in the morning, and they give it right back to me. But you know what? You're right. Just how we treat people matters, and from every level, not just individuals who wear this uniform, our dispatchers, are sworn or civilian positions. So I will certainly relay that. I think that's a great story, and I really appreciate that. And I think you can rest assured that there's a raise coming for them come July. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. But thank you so much for sharing. That's a great story. Uh, Mr. B, Michael Ray Rodriguez is a 44-year-old man from Newport News that has been missing for almost 2 weeks. What is the NNPD doing to find him? I usually get a briefs on Friday afternoon, so I have not talked to them yet about some of the cases. We had a shooting this morning. An individual showed up at the hospital, shot in the leg, so I need to find out about that. The detective passed me in the hallway as I was coming here. I just left a meeting upstairs, and he told me that they were getting ready to make some things happen in that situation. So I have to find out about Michael at 44. I have to see if there's any extenuating circumstances or if there's anything been done. But if you stay on or after, I'll try to get something back to you. And Kelly, I might have to help you. Is there a way just to email someone back directly, or if you give us a number? But I'll see what I can find out on that, and we'll go from there. And now you've piqued my. Let's see what we got. Angela, hey Chief, can't wait to chat with you. I left a message on. Would you be happy to hear what I have to tell you? And you would be happy to hear. Well, Angela, I'm always, man, I'll tell you on Friday especially, I'm always looking to hear some good news. So, yeah, I can't wait. I look forward to hearing it. If you want to tell me now, I'm good. But any good news I will take. So that's great. I look forward to hearing it. Jonathan, I sent a advisement to you from Harris Tweeter. Hope to see your face in our store. I have a lot of respect for you, sir. Jonathan, that's fantastic, man. Just let me know when you're going to be there. I'll come by and say hello and hang out. I've been over there a couple times. I will tell you, it's one of Chief Grinstead's favorite places. So, yeah, let me know sometime when you're going to be there, man. I meet you and we'll hook up and talk a little bit. I'd love to talk to you. It'd be great. Teresa, a good leader has a good team. Oh, wow. I'll tell you, Teresa, you're absolutely right. The great team part. I am surrounded by fantastic people, fantastic individuals. I try to create a culture here that we focus on service, right? And that we're like a family. So all of my family's back in Cincinnati, Ohio. So the people I come to work with and spend time with, I hear about their families and their pets and their kids and their grandkids and their high school students and new cars. And so, we may not always agree like most families, right? But if I treat them like family and show them I appreciate them, how much I care about them, I think that they in turn it creates a good environment. And my hope is that they push that same out to the citizens that we all interact with. So I really appreciate that, and it goes a long way. People need to hear that, and I thank you. Roberta, I cannot wait to start working with the department. I was just waiting to hear from HR for my medical and start date for forensic tech job. I have never seen a department that has such a camaraderie. I always have trouble with that word.
Sorry.
Is I got it, Kelly? Is that right?
Yeah, that was right. Camaraderie.
Or such attitudes from any department. From the time of my first interview to the day to now, I have never met anyone that department that has not been helpful, friendly, or unsupportive. Wow, Roberta, I really appreciate that. And I'm sure that our folks in HR and our city manager appreciate that too. But it's always good to get good feedback. Crime goes up and down. Situations happen. We respond to critical incidents. Sometimes we get called to some of the worst things that can happen in society, right? A homicide, a murder, a death, a traffic accident, someone's child is missing, or someone's parent or elderly parent may have Alzheimer's and are unable to, situations that we're called to. But we can't control those. But what we can control is how we interact with victims, how we interact with neighborhoods and our communities. When people call us and they need help, and how we interact with them, we can't control that. And look, we don't always get it right. We make mistakes. We're human, right? I make mistakes every day. I'm lucky to be on time down here. And as I walk down, like, man, I got here early. I was excited. But I make mistakes every day. And I just think we have to learn and do the best we can, as long as we're putting forth the right effort, interacting with our community, treating people how we want to be treated, showing people respect, not taking respect away from anybody else. I think that regardless of the situation, we can get through it. I'm much more about having conversations instead of confrontations, and That goes from a regular traffic stop to a domestic violence call to a situation where we have to utilize our SWAT team, or a situation where we reporting there's been a horrible accident or even a death. How we talk to people, how we interact with people goes a long way. Jonathan, I'll be here today. Okay, you'll be all right, Jonathan. So I may swing out there. I've got a heavy load. I know I got a little bit of break from about 5 to 7, and then I'm going to an event up in the north part of the city. Let me know if you're working this weekend at all, my friend. Stacy, oh, Stacy, thank you. We absolutely do. And I'll tell you, Stacy, it's not just, it's not just the civilians that work here at headquarters. It's the civilians that work at each precinct. It's the men and women, both sworn and civilian. It's our dispatchers who take the initial calls over the phone and kind of set the whole tone of what kind of interaction we're going to have. It has to be a culture, and it has to be something we practice and reinforce. It's not just something we can do for a day. It's not just something we can talk about. But we talk about it in our training, we talk about it in our in-service, and we talk about it daily and reward it daily. And I think it starts when I walk in the door in the morning of people in the hallway, that I stop and say hello, that I ask them how was their weekend, how was their day, how was their family. Those things matter. Those things matter. Not that I'm anybody important, but it's just taking time out for other people. Right? And I'll get to all the pressing paperwork to my office when I get there. But it's important. I think it helps create a culture. So thank you for that. Is it Beckett? Am I reading that right? In reference to Ray Rodriguez, I am not able to stay out here because I have to go back to work. I'm trying to get the girlfriend along. Oh, okay. So, like I said, I'll find out and I'll send you a message. I'll send you a message directly from us to you and let you know if we've got any updates. Okay, Ronnie. The interstate passing through Newport News is nothing but a NASCAR race, especially at night. We've encountered speeders up to 100 miles an hour, weaving in and out. What else can you do? Ronnie, it's a great point. It's funny. I just went out on a community walk last week. I was in a neighborhood and up around Hogan Drive area, and most of the residents talked about exactly that, about speeding. So we created a traffic division to have different officers being able to respond to speeding complaints. So when you say the interstate, are you referring to like Jefferson Avenue and Warwick? Or are you talking about the interstate outside of Newport News and through the city between us and Hampton? Help me a little bit there. But my point in addressing what you're saying is we do get a lot of complaints of speed. I try to give those to the precinct captains first for the geographical areas they're responsible for. So if there's a particular stretch or neighborhood that you're concerned about, if you let me know, I'll pass that on to the precinct captain. There's three, I should say. Newport News is linear, right? So there's a precinct in the north, the central, and the south. Each precinct has about 100 officers with a captain over there that is responsible for that geographical area, the southern part of the city, the central, and the north. And then they staff that day, evening, and midnight shift. So if I know the area and maybe the time frame, we can put some different resources there as well. So thank you for that. But I have heard a lot of complaints come in about speeding. Lindsay, hey, how are you doing? I'm glad you're here. Donald, keep up the good work. Not an easy job. Chaplain, oh wow, Don, I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. And you're right. But we stay grounded. I try to stay grounded in my faith and the individuals that I work with. Like I said, I'm very, very blessed. God has blessed me to work at such a great city. We have a fantastic mayor, city council, vice mayor, great city manager, a lot of great resources around in this department and other city agencies. I have a great relationship with the fire chief, Sheriff Morgan, and Howard Gwynn, our Commonwealth attorney, and it really takes all of us. And then to top all that off, we have a great the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, working with my friend Rob Coleman and Steve Cass, those guys with the United Way. I think it takes all of us, right, to improve the quality of life, to make things better. And I think those things are important. So I really appreciate that, Tom. And of course, faith-based and staying grounded, I think, is a big part as well. Oh, okay, you'll be there this weekend. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good, Jonathan. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, sounds good. And like I said, I'll as soon as I leave here, that'll be my first stop right across. I'll see what I can find out for you. Javier, I'm not sure what you're saying there, my friend. Roberta, the Atkins overpass is really bad. Oh, okay, yep, they just opened that not too long ago. And I have heard about some issues with speeding up there, so I can certainly pass that on. How is winter doing? Lindsay, it's a great question. I had a great phone call yesterday. I got some updates from the hospital. So without going too far or saying too much, we'll say that she's improving. She is in her own room now, but things are sounding better and better every day. Um, and that I believe that little girl is a miracle. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, last week we were called to an apartment complex in the northern part of the city where um, family in crisis individual was arrested for the murder of her 10-month-old son, and then 8-year-old daughter had received multiple stab wounds. So the mother was taken into custody. She was arrested. Regrettably, Zell Howard, the 10-month-old, passed away. In fact, his funeral is this Saturday, and myself and Chief Grinstead plan to be there. Even if it's restricted, we'll be on the outside, but I think it's important that we're there. But Winter is she's improving. We're praying for her, but everything I'm hearing every day is better. It's a long way to go. She's got a lot to go through, physically and mentally and emotionally. But I will tell you, I believe that child is destined for greatness, and I just thank God that she's okay. I want to thank CHKD in Norfolk for allowing me to, the day after, the afternoon after, they allowed me to come in and see her for about 15 minutes. She was sedated, but I just needed to put eyes on her, and thank you for asking, Lindsay. I appreciate that. Deborah, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, Deborah, you're absolutely right. That's awesome. Thanks for everything. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate that. So let me share with you kind of what happened Tuesday afternoon. The reason I missed our Tuesday session, it wasn't my fault. I tell you, it wasn't my fault. There was an individual in our city that was wanted out of James City County and York County. His name is Destin Coward. He's 22 years old. He was wanted. He had multiple warrants on file, and James City County had come down to work with us to try to locate him. We had good information, the use of technology of where he was at. We went there, and in fact, he was there. Officers responded from both jurisdictions and approached him, told him he was under arrest. He took off. He began running an apartment complex around Thimble Shoals, but he ran through the Port Warwick area around, this was all happened about 10:45 and 11 o'clock Tuesday morning. He ran through the Port Warwick area. He actually ran into a business and out outside. But as that pursuit's going on, foot pursuit, he pulls out a firearm and displays it, points it at an officer, and fires. At the time, what I thought the information we had at that time was one round, and an officer returned fire. Now, by the grace of God, no one was struck. Mr. Coward wasn't struck. Our officer wasn't struck. The civilians that were out in the park, in that park area, it's a beautiful, beautiful area there in Port Warwick. Restaurants, residential park, people walking their dogs, and by the grace of God, no one was hurt. So no one was struck. The suspect, Mr. Coward, continued to run. I guess that would be northbound, and he tried to make it up on the embankment where a Good Samaritan was able to address him, also display a firearm and hold him at bay as officers came up the embankment and were able to make the arrest and recover the suspect's firearm. So that took place Tuesday afternoon. After he was taken into custody, and the officers that were there were brought to headquarters. The Good Samaritan came to headquarters, and we did interviews. And then I also provided officers that are trained in CISM, or some light counseling, if you will. And then our department psychologist came down as well to make sure our officers were okay. We also provided some services for our Good Samaritan too, to let him know, just to make sure that he was okay. So that was. Then we spent some time out there. We had some crime scene up. That was photographing the area, taking measurements and collecting evidence that was there. And then officers went to each of the businesses. I got to talk to several citizens that we weren't looking for anyone else. I explained to them what happened, pretty much like I have here. But I just wanted them to know. What I don't like is police come in, there's something going on in the neighborhood, and then we leave. And so we just tried to explain a little bit to the businesses and the citizens that were there about what had happened. and that we were going to be there for a while, taking some photographs and processing. We talked to the Commonwealth Attorney, and they were brought up to speed on everything we have, and so that was a little hectic Tuesday afternoon, but it did force me to miss our afternoon session. So I wanted to share that with you, just kind of brief you as much as I could, trying to be transparent, and then I wanted to make that session up. So that's what got us here today. So we're great job by the South Precinct by walking in community confirming complaints and taking. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work. Wow. Thank you so much, Janie. That's awesome. We're going to talk a little bit about summer initiatives. You're going to see some more of that. That's great that you saw that. I appreciate that. What's your favorite sweet snack? My daughter, Kyla, wants to know. Deborah, I will tell you if you promise not to make fun of me. So you can laugh a little bit though. So I'm a Diet Mountain Dew guy. Gummy bears is probably my snack of choice. But if you want like sweet snack, gosh, man, yeah, I can open up a lot of doors there. I like strawberry cake with strawberry icing. I can do. I like apple pie, blackberry cobbler. I remember my grandmother used to make that when I was a kid all the time. I'd have it all over my face. It was great. And I'm a vanilla ice cream guy. So don't make too much fun of me. I know I'm going to get made fun of when I leave here. Carrie, the way and feeling is you have for all people makes you. Well, Carrie, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I know we've gone back a long way in all the activism that you do in the community, how you care about people and youth. That means a lot. And then to be able to work with you through the years, I think has been very beneficial. I hope for both of us. I know I've certainly learned a lot from you about how to treat people and how important youth are. And I could not agree with you more. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What can she make for you? Deborah, she doesn't have to make anything. It's okay. Just her asking made me smile today. So that's good. Maybe let me know what her sweets are. Maybe I can make her something or get her something. Donald, I enjoy your remarks. The grace of God. Look, wow. Donald, it would be my honor, my friend. It'd be my honor. Lindsay, gummy bears are my, I always get a big bag from Walmart. You know, Lindsay, it's funny. I'll come to the office and sometimes there'll be a bag on my desk and I won't know who brought it. But as soon as I open it, there's like 5 people there with their hands out. You know, so I try to wolf down the red and green ones as quick as I can. It's crazy. It's a professional organization, Lindsay. My best friend's a gummy bear addict too. There you go. All right, Deborah. So I got a club. That's great. So we talked about crime. I talked about the shooting that occurred. You know, the unfortunate incident with the infant death that we had last week and the funeral this weekend. We do have an academy that's in currently. There we have. Well, I guess I should go back further than that. Our academy that graduated about 8 weeks ago. They have about 4 more weeks of field training. Then they will be cut loose if the captains feel like they're ready. We have a class of 22 that is halfway through the academy. We start a new academy next week, so I'll go meet them. That's also 22. And then we've started to look at hiring for our academy in September. We're very blessed. We still have a lot of people that are applying to come work for this agency, sworn and civilian both. We have about 8 vacancies in the department. We're carrying about 465 officers. We have 64 or 65 dispatchers, and I think we're down 2. That was our number one priority this year, is to fully staff our dispatching. So Fran and Laura and Stacy, they've done a great job. We were able to do promotions, and we focused there. We were about 30 down this time last year, and we were able to get fully staffed, and that has made a world of difference, and it's important. Our dispatchers, in my opinion, really should be considered first responders. They take the first phone call. They don't see what's going on. They're all doing it through Audible, through what they hear, and then typing the message and talking to us about where we need to be. And then we can get ratcheted up on the radio, going to some of these high critical calls, and we're asking for more information, and they're doing the best they can. So that's a lot of stress. That's a hard job. I have the utmost respect for our dispatchers. They do a phenomenal job. They're our lifeline, and I just appreciate the work that they do. They're extremely professional, and I think they should be considered first responders. Lindsay, I'll hold you to that. That's pretty good. I will tell you, Miss Monica White is back with us. She had been out for a while, but she's back with us, and we picked up our Citizens Police Academy last night. So I got to go see the academy picked up. They were doing some. I think they had a presentation on gangs, and then and a presentation about technology and how we're using that and pushing that more in our department, trying to be very, very progressive and work smarter. But I got to see the citizens in there. It was good to see them. And then right across the hall was our, they call it CPAC, but it's our Citizens Alumni Police Academy. Those who have gone through the academies, and they get together once a month. And it was good to see them. They had a presentation from Chief Farrell from the park rangers, just talking about the relationships and about all the great parks here in Newport News, the things that we do and work together. So it was really good to see them as well. They both going on at the same time, so I would go back and forth. But I got to see them, and it's good to get that back up and running. Last week was Police Week. So first, let me say we had if you came by headquarters, we had it lit up in blue, with blue lights, and then I want to thank Jeff's Flowers donating wreaths again this year to represent the 12 individuals that we've had in our agency that have lost their life. Those who have given their life in the line of duty. In 1960, gosh, I don't want to say it wrong. John F. Kennedy in 60, I believe it was 61 or 62. Gosh, he declared last week, the week of May 13th through as Police Week, and that's the 1 week that we honor individuals in law enforcement who have given their ultimate sacrifice, right? Who have given their life. And there's ceremonies throughout the state, throughout the country, and even a national ceremony in D.C. But because of the pandemic, they scaled that back and they did it virtual, but there will be one in October. We did ours in October last year because of the pandemic, and I struggle because I really wanted to do it in May, but we're going to do it on the safe side, and we also will do our ceremony this year in October. But it's important. Those individuals that gave their life, they gave the ultimate sacrifice, they deserve it. And from those back in the early 1900s to the 1980s, and then our last officer, of course, Officer Thine, that lost her life in January of 2020. We owe her that. We owe all of them. And that special, we'll get together in October and just remember their memories and honor them. That's important. That's important for our agency, and it's important for individuals who lost their lives, and it's important for their families, and they deserve that respect. So it's my commitment to make sure we have an in-person ceremony, but we'll do it in October. But last week we tried to do some things here. We did a police video. If you haven't seen that, it shows each officer that has given their life, and Sarah and her team here down in Media Relations did a nice video tribute, and the Vice Mayor came by and offered a prayer, and I just think that's important. That's important. So the next thing before we get off here, Kelly, remind me, I want to talk about our summer initiatives, and I want to talk about Assistant Chief Randall, but I want to catch back up where I left off. Deborah, you got her in touch with Officer James Ramdathal, that she's sweetest thing he could ever have made for her. Oh, wow. Yes, I remember. When I saw the last post, Stacy, I talked to Ram, and yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. Wait a minute. Scroll back up. Not Ram, or not Stacy, Deborah. I had a good conversation with Sergeant Ramdathal, and you're absolutely right. And that was awesome. I was glad that happened. Stacy, the love, respect, how much you care for your dispatchers is amazing. They're the ones that very rarely get recognized, but are the first. Yeah, Stacy, I completely agree, and I will tell you, I would love for Newport News to carry the flag. We may not be the one to get across the finish line, but I think they should be and looked at as the same as first responders. I think they should have the same benefits, the same retirement. They just do an amazing job, and you're right. They are the ones that get the first call. And the stress that they go through and the commitment, the time that they put in around the clock. It's not like we shut down at 5 o'clock, right? At 2, 3 in the morning, they're there. And they are just amazing people, and I greatly appreciate them and respect what they do. Greg, I recently quit the Newport News Show. I'd love to work for you and be a part. Wow. Well, Greg, let me know. We're always hiring. We don't close our open requisitions. We're we're always looking to people to come in, and I'm not one to let good talent, hey, look, we're hiring in September. Call us in August, right? We're going to hire for the academy in September. We can put you in some different entities, different departments, whether it's in records or here in PIO, or have you working with our detective division or narcotics division, put you in one of the precincts until the academy starts. But we will what we call pre-hire and bring people on board. So, Greg, if that's something you're interested in, man, please let me know. We've got a great recruiting team. Have a very quick process. We can get the background and everything done in about 30 to 45 days. They move very, very quickly. We staff that well. And we've had a lot of departments across the country that have come and talked to Captain Bradley and his team about how do you do the background so fast? How do you get that done? And it's just the work that they do, and it's a team concept approach. HR division does an amazing job. Lindsay, our HR connection here in our department, just does an amazing job. Karen Witherspoon, Vicki Brown, they know. I've made it very clear it's important to bring in good talent and not to have people dangling around and waiting. If we change, Karen is big on, look, change some of the processes, things can move quicker. We don't have to do the same things we did in 1985, right? We have to evolve, and they've just helped me recreate what we do here, and it's really been great. Deborah, so you said the video was amazing. I'm assuming you thought about the memorial video. Man, they did a great job, Sarah. I think some things you put to music and words and pictures speak 1,000 words. If that's the video you're talking about, it definitely was. She's very talented. Anna, it's good to have you on board. Anna, great job last night. I got to see the alumni there from the Citizens Academy and see them. And I understand Chief Farrell did a great job on a presentation. He's a big friend of mine. I'm a big fan of his, and it was really good to see you guys back together. Deb, you too. You guys be safe. Have a great weekend. Donald, retired chaplain for fire department, presently chaplain, retired fireman. Outstanding. Very good. Greg, you also took a picture with my son during Halloween. Uh-oh. He was just, oh, I remember. Yeah, from the jigsaw, from the Saw movie. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that, man. He made me look good. I remember that. That's wow. Yeah, Greg, you should definitely get in touch with us, man. I'd love to talk to you. Housework is getting verbally abused. Housework is getting verbally abusing me. Seems I haven't spent any quality time with it. Well, I know what you mean. My assistant Donna's like, Chief, you don't have any space left on your desk. So my plan is get some things done today and spend this later afternoon kind of going through and getting that stuff cleaned up. I've got a lot of people I want to call. And I don't want to forget anybody or leave anybody out. Other things happen and I have to get that paperwork straight. But I know what you mean, Deborah. I get it. Greg, yeah, man, let's do it. I look forward to hearing from you, my friend. A post. Oh, wait a minute, I missed. Lindsay, so everything I hear is good on Katie's daughter Reagan. I hear everything is doing well. I have not seen her in a while, but from what I hear, she's doing okay. Let me tell you, somebody had posted earlier about a walk that South Precinct did. We met earlier in the month, the beginning of this month, and laid out our summer initiatives. I don't want to wait till midsummer to try to do some things. We need to get a hold of that and plan some things. So I'm going to share with you kind of a big picture of what we're doing. So again, linear layout of Newport News, North, Central, and South Precinct. Each precinct has picked an area, a neighborhood that we're going to focus on for the summer. In that neighborhood, so South Precinct, Marshall Courts, we're going to walk that area multiple times. We're going to have a large-scale community walks. We're going to do smaller walks. I'm going to go walk there myself on a Friday afternoon. We're going to do a community day there where we have bring out youth. We're going to flip some hamburgers and hot dogs. We're going to bring some different city agencies and how do we improve the quality of life? What do our residents want in that Marshall Courts area, that Marshall Courts corridor? We're also going to be doing traffic enforcement, serving warrants that are on file. We're also going to be interacting with youth. I'd like to do some basketball and kickball and work there with the Boys and Girls Club down in that area. But those things are important. We're going to do those type of events, enforcement, community engagement, youth, walking in the neighborhood, getting out information, and partner with our other city agencies as well, right? So if there are issues with lighting, if there's issues with abandoned vehicles, if there's issues with dilapidated buildings that are vacant and windows are broken out, to try to address those things. Working with our NEAT team, Harold Roach and his side of the house on blight, right, if you will, trimming back, getting things out of the alleyways, picking up brush. We're going to focus in that neighborhood, that particular neighborhood, during the summer. We'll do the same thing in the central. We're going to be in Tricia and Dresden Lane in the central, and up north we're going to kind of be in Aqueduct, and then across over in Lucas Creek area. Those are the areas that we're going to focus on this summer. So you're going to see a lot of activity in those three areas. But I want us to focus on those three areas. Now we'll still have crime trends and patterns that move us around, but I want for that month, for the summer months, June, July, and August, that we're in. You'll see a heavy presence in Tricia and Dresden Lane, enforcement and community and information based. The same in Marshall Courts in the south, and then again up north, Aqueduct and Lucas Creek areas where we'll be. Jamie, I bet you know where everything is on that desk. You're going to be in trouble when it's clear. Jamie, you're absolutely right. Or Janie, you're absolutely right, because I'll look. I just made this phone call, and I'll ask Donna, where'd that sheet go? And even she knows where it is. It's under the blue stack, under the crime intel report, or it's over next to the CompStat paperwork set up from last Thursday. So we both know where it is. I don't know how it gets there, but it's there. It's there. One of the things I wanted to share with you. So I've been here almost. It'll be 3 years in July. I was able to promote and select Chief Michael Hudgens to Assistant Chief, and Chief Hudgens just did a great job. He is really the driving force behind our CARES program that we were able to pitch to the city manager and a mayor and a city council, that will give us the police to allow us to be a second responder to individuals with mental issues, mental illness. And sometimes just this uniform showing up creates anxiety. So we have partnered with the fire department and our behavioral health clinicians, and we will put a CARES van together that will respond as first responders, and we'll be there in case anything were to go awry. But for the most part, we're really going to try to have our paramedics and a clinician address some of the mental illness, the drug addiction, homelessness, those type calls. But Chief Hudgens was instrumental in creating that. He had a heart for people, and I lost him in January. Right, he went down to Pineville, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte, to be their new chief. So he had applied. They had looked at him and selected him to be their chief of police back in January. So we were notified last month that Assistant Chief Eric Randall, who does a phenomenal job. He had the investigative side of the house. He really revamped how we do investigations here in the city of Newport News. So apparently Pensacola, Florida, he had applied there. They had talked to him and were blown away, and they selected him last month as their new chief. So we have one Newport News assistant chief running Pineville, and now we are going to have a Newport News assistant chief running Pensacola, and I could not be more happy for both. Chief Randall, we had a conversation, and he wrote his letter that he would be leaving, and that's difficult. This is the department he grew up in, this department he's known, and he shared with me that the city, some of the city leaders saw some of the things going on here in Newport News, and were really excited that he would bring some of those programs there, and I think he will. But I think he will also be innovative and do some different things. So I will miss Eric. He has done a phenomenal job here, big footprints on this department and this community, and he will greatly be missed. But I am so happy for him and his family, and I think he's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan anyway. So I'll tease him a little bit about that. But I got to see Chief Hudgens get sworn in. And I've made arrangements that I will also, out of respect, I will go see Chief Randall get sworn in as the new chief of Pensacola, Florida, and I just cannot be more happier for him. We will do a process here and make a selection for the new assistant chief here in Newport News to get the best person, the best for this community and this agency. But I'm so proud of Chief Hudgens, and I'm so proud of Eric, and happy for him and his family, and just wish him all the best. It's bittersweet They're both such tremendous assets here, but I'm glad to see them go out and be able to affect departments and communities in the city. And I'm just happy for them both. So I wanted to share that with you. So if you see him out and about, it's a hard time for him. It's a transition, and he loves this city and he loves this department. So if you see him, just let him know you're there for him. But he just done an amazing job. So let's see. I think Summer Initiative, Police Week, our academies, our Citizens Academy, our Alumni Academy, crime. We talked about promotions. Did I talk about promotions? I don't know if I did. So as we've had some movement, we made 3 promotions, notifications of promotions last week. They take effect July 1. We promoted Corporal Dame to Sergeant. We promoted Detective Jackie Hauser to Sergeant, and we promoted Detective Jason Thompson to Sergeant. We'll probably do a couple more promotions in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I think I have 2 more positions that I'm going to be able to fill. Just had to kind of look at our staffing, but I'm excited about that. We have a promotion ceremony coming up, Kelly, at the end in June. So I'm excited about that. And we weren't able to do the ceremony again because of the pandemic, but we're going to be at I believe it's Gethsemane Baptist Church down in our south part of our city. I'm excited. Pastor Riddick, a mentor of mine, is on our police foundation. We've done some things with Gethsemane before. Just fantastic people, fantastic man of faith. Has allowed us to use his sanctuary. I believe that's where we're going to be towards the end of the month in June, and we're going to do the ceremony for those who were promoted last year who didn't get a ceremony, and those this year. So it'll be a little bit larger than usual, but those individuals that move up and take on the responsibility of supervision, they deserve it, and their families deserve it, and I want to give them their day. Leadership matters, and those that are willing to step into that role and take that on are special people, because now they become accountable, not only for themselves, but for others. And each time you move up, the accountability gets higher. It doesn't make it easier. It gets harder. And I'm so fortunate and proud of those that were willing to take on that role, and they're going to do a great job. I have the utmost confidence in them as well. So we've got about 15 minutes left. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anybody. Kelly, are we good?
Mhm.
I don't want to offend anybody and miss any comments. As we move into the summer, just remember, we've talked a little bit about speeding, that school's getting ready to get out. I want to wish all of our high school students that are graduating. We have a young adult police commissioner program where we have a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school. And we work with them. We spend time every Wednesday together. And we don't just hang out, right? Now we do provide food because they like to eat a lot. Chick-fil-A, Papa John's Pizza, you name it. Jimmy John's, and they got some different tastes. Taco Bell, I think, was the last one that hooked us up. But we have a lot of conversations about what's going on in our city. Talk about diversity, talk about crime, talk about leadership, talk about accountability. And I try to expose them as much as I can of this department to them. Why we do what we do. So any ceremony that you see us have, a promotion ceremony, a graduation ceremony, a memorial service, National Night Out, I try to have youth involved. You will always see them I'll have a high school student that's one of our guest speakers that performs a song, a poem, something. And I'm trying to do 2 things there. I'm trying to send a message to this community that youth matter. And that's our future. I want youth of this community to know, and parents of youth to know, that they matter to me. I'm also trying to send a message to our department, the same message, that youth matter. And we need to invest in the young people of this community, our schools. I think we have some of the most talented people in Newport News. I interact with these kids. We recently had I'm going to say it wrong, a poetry slam, open mic, spoken word is one of those 3s, right? And we really we kind of refined it to focus on the pandemic, equity, reimagining law enforcement, their expectations. And I'll tell you, I did the welcome, and then I just got out of the way and listened. And I'll tell you, our young people, man, they had a powerful, powerful voice and what they're feeling, what they're going through. So I say all that to say I am excited. We have a couple seniors graduating this year that we worked with. I enjoy going to the graduations. The last 2 years I've been able to attend those. I know it'll look a little different this year with the way it was as we come through the pandemic, but I'm so excited to see them graduate, and for all our graduates. I wish you guys all the best. And if there's anything that I or this department can do for you, please, please, please let me know. I just want to see people succeed and have those opportunities, and not just at the high school level, right? In college, we just had an internship. Um, a female did a study with us and looked at the programs that we have in the department, looked at our crime, looked at our victims, looked at our traffic stops, looked at our makeup, looked at our diversity, looked at our promotions, and she was doing this program. She's a student at CNU, and she worked it through people to people and just kind of looked at how we do and who are our suspects, who are our victims, what is the police department doing, how does our department look, and we just gave her a lot of data. Um, but really it was nice to get to know her and let her kind of look from outside eyes looking in. And I think that's important to partner with different entities and look at different ways with education can come in and evaluate and correlate some of the things that we're doing. And I think it tells a good story. When you look at everything, I think it tells a good story, not a 30-second snapshot on Facebook, the whole 7 or 8 minutes. That's the whole story. So those things matter. We're doing a lot. We have a lot of partnerships going on with our outside entities. I'm really looking forward to getting back to work with Hal and Rob Coleman with the Boys and Girls Club and getting those basketball leagues started back up. I'd like to do some kickball leagues this summer, maybe some wiffle ball out there at South Morrison in the football field right there at South Morrison and across from the Boys and Girls Club. I think that's a lot of fun. Yeah, those things is what we have planned, and what we want to focus on. Right, but I am excited about graduation, the events coming up in the summer, and just some things that we have going on. There's a lot. I cannot believe that we're almost through May. It just seems like we just celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas, and here we are getting ready to start off the summer as we move forward. So, did I miss any, Kelly? I know. Angela, how are you? Let's see. I know at times your officers utilize the Peninsula Rescue Mission on Huntington Avenue for folks who are released from jail. Our church cooks and serves meals on the fourth Thursday of every month at around 5 o'clock. We would love for you to join us for, oh, wow, I would love to. Let's stop by and we can show you the inner workings. Angela, I would love to. If you can send me, if it's possible, to send me a contact number, I would love to do that. I'll get my assistant to shoot you a call and coordinate a time. That would be fantastic. I'm kind of clearing my calendar on Friday afternoons throughout the summer. So every Friday, I like to go out and just walk a neighborhood. Sometimes people will email in and say, Chief, we'd love you to come walk our neighborhood. I don't make a big spectacle of it. I'm not asking a lot of officers to go with me. If citizens want to come out and walk with me and talk with me, I think that's fantastic. It allows me to get to know you and spend some time with you and answer questions. It also allows me to just get to see the neighborhood. So each neighborhood that's selected, so I'll be walking in Marshall Courts, I'll walk in Trish and Dresden Lane, I'll walk in Lucas Creek and Aqueduct. But there are other, Hogan Drive is one that I walked last week with our new Spanish liaison officer, Ms. Franco. But I want to walk in different neighborhoods of our city. It allows me to get a good look at them and just see some things and get out and get some fresh air and get my steps in, right? Yeah. We'll keep you in NPD in prayer. We must all work together because at the end of the day, we all want to be able to. Oh, absolutely, Jenny. Thank you so much. That's all I could ask. Price, that sounds great, man. We should absolutely could do that. Are you walking today? If so, where? So I've got a meeting at 4 and 5, and then I'm going to be at a church event at 7. But Nakia, you're the only one that asked. So I will tell you, I am. I'm going to walk somewhere today. I don't know exactly where. It'll probably be somewhere up in the north part of the city because at Calvary Chapel there's a community event that they've asked me to be at. They're going to offer up prayer and Pastor Tony, the congregation is just they just do a lot for this community. So I'm going to be there at 7. So it'll probably be up there and may walk around Lucas Creek or Aqueduct this evening for a little bit, just walking in the neighborhoods around that area, the location. Jocelyn, do you have any senior citizen specific programs? Jo- I absolutely do. And if you will send me a number, I will have them call you. Anna Whalen does an amazing job with some of the things that we do with our seniors. Monica White, we actually have a seniors academy where we expose ourselves, the department, to some of our senior citizens. We have done it at retirement communities. We have volunteers where we have seniors volunteer with us. But I can have Miss Monica White or Anna Whalen give you a call. And there's a lot of opportunities that we work with and talk about different programs that we have for our seniors. So that's a great question, and we absolutely do. And I'd love to have a number to reach out to you, and we'll go from there. Okay, David, keep it up. Keep your efforts. Reach out to the community. Are appreciated. David, I appreciate that. It means a lot to me, my friend. I think how this agency goes. I think that I have to set the tone for that. I certainly know that I can't do it by myself, but I do know that I have. When we talk about the higher you go, the accountability, I believe that I set the tone for that. That I talk about that youth are important to me. That how we treat people is important to me. How we talk to people, follow up, right? Getting back in touch with citizens. I know it's hard sometimes. I fall behind on that, but I try to get back with those that have reached out to me. That we put forth a culture in this department. We're bringing officers in, that we're training officers that are here, and we continue to place an emphasis on equity, on empathy and understanding. And look, I know there's times we have to make an arrest. It's not what we would want to do, but there's times we have to do that. And there's times where individuals don't want to be arrested. A situation like that just took place here in our city on Tuesday, where an individual fled and fired at police officers. And I just thank God no one was struck. So nobody likes to do that, but there's times that we have to. But once that's over, right, we go right back to treating people with respect, that having those conversations. I'm sorry I have to give you this ticket. You were speeding. I'm sorry you were the one responsible for the accident. I'm sorry, but you have a warrant on file. We have to get this served. It's nothing personal. Hey, we're patrolling this neighborhood because there's been a rash of robberies. We're not profiling anyone, but we're here because the evidence and data show that we've had 3 robberies here in the last 3 days. In explaining ourselves, I think we can always do a better explanation of why. I will tell you, most of the officers I come in contact with really see to have a passion for youth in this city. I see the different things that they do, and when I look at our Facebook page in the department and I see kids playing basketball or sitting at a cafeteria having lunch with a middle school student or elementary student. They have mustard. Me and Chief Grinstead will go to some elementary schools and we get covered in food, but man, we have a great time. I can tell you cafeteria duty can be hazardous pay. I'll tell you that now. But we adopted Jenkins Elementary School, and Kelly, the principal up there, is phenomenal. So I look forward to getting back to doing more with the kids when we're able to get back in and interact with them, whether we read a book in the classroom or the library. We see the kids at a bus stop or see them get off the bus to the school or get on the bus when school's over. Youth matter to me. Kids of this city matter to me. That's our future. And we all make mistakes, right? But we all had help. We all had people that looked out for us, aunts, uncles, coaches, preachers, youth leaders, youth pastors, grandmas in the neighborhood that we weren't related to look out for us. So, yeah, youth matter to me. So, William, great job from New Jersey. Oh, wow, William, it's good for you to be on board. He's doing a great job, by the way. Are you planning Citizens Police Academy in the near future? Dan, absolutely. If you send us a number, I will get in touch with you. We absolutely are. My goal is to do 3 a year. We were in one about halfway through, and the pandemic hit and we shut down. They started back up last night, so I got to go see a little bit. I think they had a presentation, like I said, on I think it was gang awareness and technology, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we absolutely are. And if you send me a number, my friend, I'll get in touch with you. I'd love for you to be a part of it. We use those citizens that go through those academies. I asked them to sit on our use of force review board and interact with officers, and You see the body-worn camera footage. I don't think it's good that just the police make those decisions about use of force. I don't think it's good just to have citizens do it either. Yeah, but when you bring the two together, so in our use of force review board, any type of force we use, mace, OC spray, taser, aspeton, physical force. We have an officer, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a captain, 4, and we have 4 civilians. And we watch the body-worn camera footage. Internal Affairs loads the camera footage up. You see it unedited. You see things, you hear things. You hear officers get upset with citizens. You hear citizens get upset with officers, and you see what occurs. Not 30 seconds posted on Facebook with a narrative. You see the full 8 or 9 minutes of what happened. And then we make a decision. You all vote in policy, out of policy, or in policy, but we could do some things better with training, and there might be some better ways to do these things. If there's a tie, if it's 2 citizens and 2 officers that feel the use of force was justified, and 2 officers and 2 citizens that feel like it wasn't, if it's a tie in any way, we turn that back over to, there's no deciding vote here. We turn that back over to Internal Affairs and the Commonwealth Attorney, and they look at it and determine if the act was criminal, if it was excessive. And then I will always ask, did the citizen who we used force on complain? Our use of force board meets next week. There's a couple situations at the hospital where individuals tried to bite officers that were going through some mental illness. There's a domestic call that we're on. But I think we have five scenarios to go through next week. We do one a month. So in the month of February, we will look at the use of force incidents in January. In the month of March, we'll look at the use of force incidents in February. So we meet once a month, and we look at the entire footage. Now, some people have pushed back and said, well, we don't think it's right that you have to go through a Citizens Academy. Well, the reason for that is it gives, when we go through the Citizens Academy, you get presentations during the weeks of the Academy about what use of force is, what the law is, what our policy is, so you have an understanding. It would take us a long time to go through that each session, right? And I'm trying to be cognizant of people's time. But what we do is invite individuals from the community to come in and sit and be observers. But the vote is those that have gone through the Citizens Academy and those that are officers here, and it's equal, it's 4 and 4. But we do invite citizens to come in. We've had pastors, we've had principals and school teachers. We've had Dr. Lyons come in and kind of do an evaluation for us and how do we get better, what do we talk through. We've had some city council members come and sit in, or city managers come and sit in, and citizens, right? I also invite the officers who used force, and they can explain what was going through their head, what their thought process was, and the individuals on the panel there of 8 can ask them any question. Why did you tase this person? Why did you not tase this person? Why did you allow this person to get out of the car? Why did you allow this person to, why did you use your OC spray? Why were you at the hospital in the first place? And it allows, you see the full video, unedited, and direct questions. And it gives you a clear picture of what happened and why the officer did what they did. And it may be that the officer's actions were out of policy, and we need to employ discipline and training. And I will always use those two together. But it's important. It's important that we do that as a group. I don't think it should be all police. I don't think it should be all civilian. I think it has to be together. And I think that's how we move forward. And I will tell you, DCJS, the Department of Criminal Justice Services for the state, who decide the training for across the state of all the academies to be certified to be a police officer in Virginia, DCJS is over that. They are coming to watch our use of force review board on Tuesday, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I didn't mean to get off. I wanted to share that with you. Ms. Brumfield, I would love for you to see it. I think that would be great. If you'd like to be a guest, let me know. Give me a number. I'll get back to you. And if you'd like to come this Tuesday and observe, you're more than welcome. Anna, you can get the application. Oh, so on the Citizens Academy and the there's apparently an application on the PD website. But if you don't see it, let me know and we'll work through it. So we're about 2 after 2. I hope I haven't kept people too long or bored you too much. But again, I just try to share some insights, kind of things that are going on. If you get a chance to look at it or share this with one of your friends who has a question, or if you have questions anything that I can do, please let me know. Ms. Bates, I would like to see a Say No to Guns initiative for youth, similar to the Say No to Drug program that was done in the schools. Say No to Guns initiative. You know, we talk about gun awareness and we talk about violence associated with firearms. We try to push that. I don't know if we actually have the Say No program initiative, but I certainly take a look at it. But we do talk a lot about guns, what to do if you see it, and safety, and the dangers of it, that they're not cool, they're not toys, right? Yeah. How can I get you my contact info? And Angela, so Kelly is telling me, she's giving me the sign that she will message you and we'll reach out to you. So it's just a direct, I guess, Kelly, right, from us to her, and we'll go from there. But Angela, I'd love to share that with you, get with you. So I'm going to let you get back to your day. I'm going to go up and try to attack that paperwork on my desk, and yeah, I'll probably be out in Aqueduct, Lucas Creek, or somewhere up north. It may be further, a little bit up north. I may shoot Kelly a call and tell her to put out, but I know I need to be at Calvary Chapel at 7, so I want to be up there as close as I can, so I'm close. You guys have a great day. God bless each of you. Look out for each other. Please have a safe weekend, and we will do this again next month. All right, take care.